Hello YouTube, this is Ryan from Ryan's Journey. Hey, I know it's been a while since I've been on YouTube with the video. A lot of things have happened since then. But anyway, thought I'd make a video, kind of wing it. I've thought about making one for a while. I want people to know that I haven't fell off the face of the earth completely, and things are going pretty good. But yeah, let me just get right into the numbers first. I think what happens when people don't make videos anymore, and I even thought this when I used to watch videos all the time, is that somebody they went crazy and they've gained 50 pounds and they're too ashamed to get back on here and talk to people. So that hasn't been the case. So, but let's just start. So I started my weight loss journey November 18th, 2014. No, 2013. So I started my weight loss journey November 18th, 2013, I'm pretty sure. At that point is the first time I met my surgeon for just a consultation to see. At that point I was 50-50 if I was going to do the surgery or not. On that day I weighed a surprisingly high 326 pounds. Obviously I need to get something done and do something at that point. So the day of surgery was 3 months approximately after that. I had lost about 32 pounds on my own, getting down to 294. So 294. And I don't know if I mentioned it in my later videos, but especially if you're newer going through these videos, I got to a point where I'd lost enough weight. I wear suits to work. I had to take my suits down at a tailor to fit me. And there was part of me that thought I can do this on my own. I don't need to do a surgery. And so I really struggle with that. Back in some of my videos at that time, I talk about it. But at the end of the day, and even talking with my surgeon about it before surgery, probably like 40% of people that lose the weight beforehand will gain it back eventually. So I wanted a tool to help me keep the weight off, along with exercise, eating right, things like that. So I decided to go ahead and go with the surgery on February 24th, 2014. Now it's February 5th, so it's almost 2 years. It's almost a 2-year surgiversary, if you like to call it that. Today I weigh 210 pounds. So I think it's 210.2. And it was, so my lowest weight I got to, I think, was 197, technically, which is just for like a day. Because it was crazy. Anything under 200 pounds for me was really too low. I felt too skinny. I didn't like the way I felt, or I felt healthy. I was exercising a lot and stuff like that, but I felt like I looked too skinny, and I got that a lot. So my goal range is really 205 to 215. I don't mind if I go 200 to 220 in the red zones, but really 205 to 215 is where I want to stay. So 205, I felt pretty good, a little bit on the lower side, but I wouldn't panic if I got under 205. I do see, especially on the guy side, some guys, when I was doing heavy into the videos in Facebook, I saw some people losing too much weight, and I felt like myself was, and so I don't want to do that. So I'm going to get into foods a little bit. Protein is the key. Protein is the key to everything. I realize that now more than I did before, but I'm going to get into foods in a bit. So anyway, numbers, 326 was my highest a little over 2 years ago. Almost 2 years ago was my surgery date at 294. Now today I'm 210. That's a total loss from the start of my journey of 116 pounds, give or take, and roughly 84, 85 pounds since my surgery. So managed to keep it off. Very, very happy with the success I've had. Definitely has changed my life for the better. And there are some cautionary tales that I must say. And I'm not sure if I'm going to get in everything in this video. I plan on keeping this video kind of short. We'll see. Might have to leave it up to the comments I get and see if people are still interested in my story. So just to bump ahead, I talked about my range. 205 to 215 is really my range. I was for the last several months, up until about 2 months ago, at the higher part of that range. I did get up for about 3 months total around the 215-ish, maybe even 216. I didn't even weigh when I got real high. But I didn't feel bad. I didn't feel like my sleep apnea came back or anything crazy like that. But I decided to give up alcohol and completely. And I think that helped. I always thought, because I drink vodka and diet cranberry and lime, I felt like that was a healthy thing. But I think the alcohol is sugar. And so I've decided to cut that out completely. And so there's no more alcohol in my body. Call it a New Year's resolution, whatever, but it's been actually more like almost 2 months now. And that has been a big help. Also, without the alcohol, I started exercising a lot more. I started a new gym that has a pool and things like that. Because I moved about a half hour away. So when I moved, I didn't really have a gym. So that's when my weight over a few months crept up. Stopped the alcohol, got back to the gym, got to get my weight back down. And I actually probably have some ways to go as far as building some muscle and losing body fat, even though I probably look okay now. Food. So food, protein first. Like, this is the main thing. And I remember Aussie Mel, I think was her name. She told me that her surgeon and her clinic there in Australia told her not so much low carb, high protein, this and the protein shakes, all those kind of things. They just told her, make sure you get the protein in. And I thought that was interesting. And at that time I was like, hey, well, I mean, you could get a lot of protein but still get some carbs and stuff like that. But I found that if you just long-term wise focus on the protein, for example, things that I made a couple days ago, I made a couple of chicken breasts. At that time, I put them in a salad. Okay, it was a chicken salad. It was like a Santa Fe when I put some corn and stuff. I made that. I only used one of the chicken breasts. So and then I had some of the chicken left over. I use that chicken for a sandwich the next day. I took a wheat bread, I toasted it. I took one piece, folded it over, made a sandwich out of it, basically, cut the chicken up in pieces. And I may have enough chicken to do even something else later. So usually on the weekends, I'll barbecue, especially in the summer. I'll barbecue tri-tip, which you might not know is beef. It's popular here where I live in California. It's kind of like a brisket in a way, but we cook it differently. But I'll make that and slice it up and serve that with, I got friends over for my family, and then I will use that throughout the week even. I'll take it to work for lunches. But the protein is the basis for everything. I boiled eggs last week, 8 of them, whatever. I took a few of them, smashed them up, hard-boiled eggs, after I unpeeled them, smashed them up, and I made an egg salad. So I keep that in a container. So anytime I can grab that container out in a pinch, I can make a sandwich, I can just eat it plain, or a lot of times what I do is I keep crackers. I keep crackers around, and I'll use the egg salad sandwich or chicken salad. I make a chicken salad, I mix it up with a little bit of mayonnaise and mustard, and I'll put that over crackers or a sandwich. These are things I can eat quick, on the fly, small portions, and have protein around. So just to give you, that's kind of an example. I always have nuts around, or some kind of trail mix that's more protein-based trail mix. I keep hummus. Hummus is kind of something I do a lot. I always have hummus in the fridge. That could be crackers. That could be celery. That could be, I could put it on chicken even. I mean, I use hummus a lot. So hummus is really good. But just keep these proteins around, and everything else you can base around there. And I think if you stick to the proteins, you won't be able to eat enough of the other crap to make that much of a difference. As long as you're exercising somewhat, or moving, and keeping your portions down, not pushing your stomach. One thing I don't ever do is I never push my stomach. I never try to stretch it out, like get in a binge, psychologically sad or upset or happy or depressed, and go where I'm just going to eat as much as I can of this. Once I feel it a little bit tightening, I let it go. I stop. And if you stop, you're not going to be hungry. Maybe in an hour or 2, 3, I have to eat a little something again. It does happen. Depending on, some days I'm more hungry than others. But I don't push it. And that's something, 2 main fears I had when I went through this. One, losing too much weight too fast, coupled with having too much loose skin. I didn't want to have too much loose skin. I've done a really good job of that. It could be because of genes. It could be because I was somewhat athletic before I lost the weight. It definitely, I think, is a factor that I tried to lose weight a little bit slower, and with toning, with swimming and weights and things like that as I went. So that's one. The second thing was, Where was I going with that? Oh, the second thing is to stretch my stomach out gradually where I would be able to gain the weight back. We all see stories of people that had bypasses or arm Ys or sleeves that gain the weight back, and you're like, whoa. So, in fact, I even met a girl that had the same surgeon as me that had gained a decent amount of weight back. And she told me that, everybody's got her reasonings, but I think it was because of gradually stretching the stomach out through food and drinks and things like that. So moving on, I've mentioned no alcohol. I've cut that out. Cautionary tale there. Weight loss surgery, if you do it right and you stick to it afterward, it can change your life. I believe I've added 20 years on my life. I'm a much better father. I can do more things with my son. I don't have sleep apnea anymore. Great, 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 great. But on the bad side, you do have a transfer addiction possibility. And I know for someone like myself that had drinks before, I enjoy drinking more after surgery, in that it hits you faster, and you can't really eat, so it's kind of a reward. Food to me was kind of a reward. If I did well at my job or did things like that, it was a reward. Alcohol becomes a little bit of a reward for me. If I'm a good dad and I do good at work, I want to go do things social. We have a lot of wineries around where I live, so we did wine. And for the most part, I was okay, but there were times where it hit me strangely fast or surprisingly. And I had a couple incidences like that where I finally just decided to not. So if that's on you, that's just a cautionary tale. I'm not going to get too deep about that. I have, in fact, over the last couple of months, done some research, which I didn't do before. My surgeon's office said not to drink, mostly because of dietary reasons. I never heard anything about you could have some troubles, but I Googled it and I found that a lot of people actually have had legal trouble. Their family members have become alcoholics or horrible stories. So I would say if you're thinking about doing the surgery, or even if you have done it, do some research on that, especially if you have a tendency to drink. There's people that never drank at all, maybe a social beer, that after surgery became more like alcoholics. So that's a cautionary tale. You do what you want with that information. Recently got back in the gym. I told you that. It's really nice because this gym has a pool. And for a while there, I didn't have a gym with a pool. And that gives me an element really just to mix things up. I get bored of the same thing over and over. And so you can only do elliptical so much. You can only do certain weight programs you do. So the pool gives me something different when I get bored of it, which I like. So and I think it's a full body workout. It's definitely a good exercise. I recommend the pool to everybody, especially if you're early on, just about to have surgery, or after when you're still heavier. It's a great way to take your body weight off of you and get good exercise. And so just start slow and work your way up. I have lost touch. Last note I wrote down, I haven't been involved at all in my weight loss Facebook page. I don't really do Facebook that much anyway, but especially the weight loss Facebook or YouTube. I haven't watched any of your videos for a long time. And I just it's been life. At one point, I don't know when it was, like 8 months out after surgery, a year, I got more into life and less into this weight loss world. I kind of wanted to not have my life be so much about weight loss and be more about just living life, doing my job and working on promotions and working on my family and doing things. And so at some point or another, I decided to just evolve out of that. But I'd like to be more involved. I'm not going to promise any videos. I will pay attention to the comments on this video. So if you have anything to say, post them here. I may check my Facebook thing if you have those messages there. I might not, to be honest. But yeah, I just wanted to come up here and make a quick video about what I have going on and how I'm almost 2 years out, still doing pretty well. I did get asked to do a commercial from the hospital I had my weight loss surgery at. I was going to do the commercial. I thought it would be neat to be a positive representation of my weight loss clinic, which is next to the hospital, and also the hospital in itself. And the hospital's in Santa Barbara, and it's a really good hospital. I enjoyed my experience there, and I'm sure I would have made a good little video. I see the videos happening, but I eventually denied. I told them I wasn't going to do the video, the commercial, and they've asked me to do a couple other things. And I'm not going to go into the details why, but let's just say I'm not getting paid to do commercials, and so don't make me feel bad that my job, my real job, can't make enough time to fit into your time schedule if you want me to be a commercial. So I had a little bit of issues, not with the hospital, but the people they hired to do the filming. And but anyway, but I was flattered that they did that. That was really cool. And but I hope the best for them in their commercial. And the commercials are nice. I see them on. They probably play one during the Super Bowl. But anyway, thanks again, guys. If you have any questions at all or anything I can do to help, message me. I will try to respond, and we'll go from there. Peace.